The mayor of what's supposed to be Canada's most conservative city is trying to criminalize opposition to drag queen story hours. But we have a plan to fight back, but we need your help to do it.
We had a drag brunch at the Rec Room in the north of Calgary by our community of drag queens in Calgary who have done amazing work promoting inclusion and really raising awareness of how important it is to be a welcoming community. Unfortunately, some members of our population thought it would be a good idea to protest this event, which is, I'm just going to use my opinion, a horrible thing to do. I was very happy that CPS was there to provide a buffer and to ensure that everyone was safe and that the show could go on. My question is, do we have the ability, when a protest is rooted in hatred, to ticket people and shut this down? How does it work?
Mayor Gondek, I will seek to answer that question. I am responsible, of course, as the General Manager for Community Services for our bylaw work, and so it would be a bylaw that we would be pursuing that way. I imagine that there's some complexity to defining what we anticipate to have happen at protests. And so I don't feel like I have the crisp answer that I would like to. Right now, I'm happy to look into that, and I will send a note to all members of council when we have a good, clear answer to your question.
Thank you, GM Black. I appreciate that. I didn't expect you to have an answer immediately, but I do appreciate that you will look into it. We cannot have this kind of intolerance and hatred in our city, so thank you for pursuing it.
The mayor of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Jyoti Gondek, has said that she's going to weaponize Calgary's so-called anti-harassment laws to prevent concerned parents and other members of the public from peacefully protesting against children being exposed to overtly sexual adult cross-dressing burlesque shows. Now, we're fighting back, and we have a plan to help anyone who's charged with these absolutely unconstitutional censorship fines for peacefully protesting on the streets of Calgary. And I've got a plan for you to get involved in the fight too. It's at fightcensorshipfines.com. I'll explain more on our strategy in a minute. But first, the problem, which brings us here. You see, the mayor, Jyoti Gondek, she's had it. She's just so darn tired of concerned parents showing up to protest drag queen story hours or drag queen events at publicly funded facilities like libraries or like the ice surface at Calgary's open-air Olympic Plaza. Recently, a drag event was canceled there after what a normal person could reasonably interpret as just not a lot of public buy-in or support. But let me be clear, there has been no evidence of violence directed at the event. The drag performers canceled their own event. I haven't seen any evidence that it was because of criminal threats. And that's important. Criminal threats. And Calgary, it's a city of protest. Ezra describes the place as rambunctious. The people in Calgary care so deeply about civil liberties that they risked public gathering fines each week to protest the pandemic lockdowns. It's a city of arrested and imprisoned pastors who refused to turn away their congregants to comply with pandemic lockdown restrictions on places of worship. It's a city where rights matter. Now, some of these anti-drag protesters are just flatly against all ages drag shows, which seems like a reasonable position if you're someone who cares about the exposure of minor children to adult sexual behaviors and performances. And other protesters are specifically and explicitly against the use of government facilities or government funds to facilitate drag queen events. But whatever the motivations for the peaceful protesters are, what Gondek is doing is wrong, because your right to peacefully express your opinion in the public square in this country is a charter-protected right. And beyond that, it's a human right. And it's very important for citizens of this country, a free country, to be able to express their disagreement with the political decisions made by the government. But look at this, from the City of Calgary's own government website. Silence the haters. And the image here, a bylaw ticket over someone's mouth to shut them up. The city is deciding what you get to say in the public square. And if you say something wrong, you're going to be punished financially. But more than that, Protesting is not harassment. Harassment is clearly defined in the Canadian Criminal Code as a pattern of menacing and threatening behavior. Here's the law. No person shall, without lawful authority and knowing that another person is harassed or recklessly as to whether the person is harassed, engage in conduct referred to in subsection 2 that causes the other person reasonably, in all the circumstances, to fear for their safety or the safety of anyone known to them. Prohibited conduct includes repeatedly following them from place to place, the other person or anyone known to them. Repeatedly communicating with, either directly or indirectly, the other person or anyone known to them. Besetting or watching the dwelling house or place where the other person or anyone known to them resides, works, carries on business, or happens to be, or engaging in threatening conduct directed at the other person or any member of their family. But here's Jyoti Gondek's Calgary harassment law. Harass means to communicate with a person in a manner that could reasonably cause offense or humiliation, including conduct, comment, or action that refers to the person's race, religious beliefs, color, disability, age, ancestry, place of origin, marital status, source of income, family status, gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, and includes a sexual solicitation or advance. Gondek's criminalizing hurt feelings, public discomfort, and political opposition to her decisions. Actually, it's worse than that. She's criminalizing the potential for hurt feelings because the law uses the word could, as in could cause offense or could cause humiliation, not did cause those things. And the people who hurt the feelings of a drag queen, well, they could face a $500 ticket. And of course, with these sorts of things, there always is a snitch line. By the way, when Antifa was targeting Pastor Art Pawlowski's church based on his religious beliefs, where was Mayor Gondek with her anti-harassment law then? Or when Antifa shows up on the streets of Calgary during the March for Life to bully Christians, where was her anti-harassment law then? Or when Antifa shock troops show up to intimidate grandmas who don't want to see the outline of a man's genitals in a lady's figure skating costume at Olympic Plaza. Apparently, targeted harassment laws in Jyoti Gondek's city, well, they only work one way. Those laws only serve to protect Gondek and her political and progressive causes and allies. What Gondek wants to issue you for protesting is a social credit ticket. Well, friends, as I promised in the beginning of this video, this is where you get to help, or where you can get some help. If you get one of these so-called anti-harassment tickets, which, let's be real here, are anti-Gondek policy tickets, anti-public expression tickets, anti-free speech tickets, anti-protest tickets, and anti-free association tickets, they're basically anti-exercising your conscience in the public square tickets, these censorship tickets, something they'd issue you in Hong Kong, well, if you get one, I'm here to help. If Mayor Gondek wants to make this the hill she's going to die on, I will help her climb to the summit. It is not illegal to disagree with the mayor or her weird friends. And if she wants a court to tell her that, you know what? Let's dance, sister. Now, I'm not telling you to break Gondek's bad law, and it is a bad law. But if you get one of Gondek's censorship tickets, we will help you. I've got a very special intake form set up. It's at fightcensorshipfines.com. Fill out the form and we'll connect you with a great lawyer who will fight your censorship ticket in court at absolutely no cost to you. And if you're watching this and you want to get involved to help fight these tickets, to help people who are receiving Gondek's bad anti-protest tickets, you can make a donation at that same website, fightcensorshiptickets.com. We're doing this all in partnership with the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund. So all of your donations there qualify for a charitable tax receipt. Let's fight back. Let's fight for free speech in Calgary and teach this city a lesson. And let's scare some cities out of following in Mayor Gondek's footsteps. That's at fightcensorshipfines.com. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you receive one of Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek's censorship tickets for protesting in the streets of Calgary, we can help. Please go to fightcensorshiptickets.com and fill out the intake form. And if you are someone who wants to help those who have received a censorship ticket, please consider making a tax-deductible donation at that same website, fightcensorshiptickets.com.